Hello students, today I am going to take the last lecture of Kingdom Fungi, that is Lichens. The word lichen was given by the father of botany. His name is Theophrastus. Again I repeat, Theophrastus. Theophrastus is the father of botany. Whereas studying about lichens, it is called as lichenology. Whereas Eric Acarius, he is the father of lichenology. I know the word is a little difficult. Eric Acarius. Eric Acarius is the father of lichenology, where lichens, you need to understand a one very important point, that is lichens are symbiotic association. What is the meaning of symbiotic association? See, try to understand what am I telling. The association in which two organisms are present, where both the organisms are equally benefited, and this type of relation called as symbiosis. For example, for you I will tell you a very easy way. Imagine two friends are there, and two friends, they started eating their tiffin box. Now let us take student A, he brought some laddu, whereas student B, he brought some gulab jamun. Now when they opened their tiffin boxes, now this A, as he's the B is his friend, he gave one laddu to him, and in return he gave his gulab jamun to him. That means, what you understood in this association, two organisms are present, friend A and friend B. Now friend A, because he is giving his laddu to this what I call friend B, he is not in loss, because in return he is getting gulab jamun. Now friend B also, as he is giving gulab jamun to friend A, he is not in loss, because he is getting a laddu. That means, here you need to understand, students, please don't mind, I need to make you to understand. That's why I'm giving you this kind of examples. While I'm teaching also, I know what am I teaching, so please understand. Somehow or other, you need to understand the concept. That is my only intention. So that too, I'm physically not able to reach you because of this corona, these things. And please try to understand. Hope you understood what is the meaning of symbiosis. But still, safety ke liye, again I repeat, the association in which two organisms are present, where both the organisms are equally benefited, and then this type of association, it is called as symbiotic association. Whereas coming to the lichen part, in lichen, two partners are present. The first partner is algal partner, and the second partner is fungal partner. Now fungi, it associates with algae, and then they live together. Then this association, it is called as lichens. So if any question come, then you need to answer it. Lichens are the symbiotic association of, then they will give many options. Then you need to choose algae and fungi. That means some part of algae and some part of fungi, they make an association, and that association, which is made up of both algae and also fungi, then this association only you are calling it as lichens. I think so I explained you clearly, but still if you have any confusions, you please let me know. I will answer your confusions. Now I just 1 minute back only I told you lichens are made up of algae and fungi, where this algal partner, it is called as phycobiont, whereas the fungal partner, it is called as mycobiont. Again I repeat, algal partner, it is called as phycobiont, whereas fungal partner is called as mycobiont. Now if you go back, I told you one important thing. Lichens are the symbiotic associations. That means both the organisms must be इक्वली बेनिफिटेड, याद है ना आपको. सो आल्गे की वजह से फंगाई को थोड़ा बेनिफिट आना है, वेरस फंगाई की वजह से आल्गे को भी थोड़ा बेनिफिट मिलना चाहिए. सो व्हाट इज दैट बेनिफिट? दैट मीन्स म्यूचुअली दे आर helping each other. What is the help offered by algae and also fungi to each other? Let us see. Algal component, that means I am talking about phycobiont. Algae, it is chlorophyllous. That means it consisting of chloroplast. So chloroplast is present. I think so. You must have understood what is the answer. Chloroplast is present, though. What it can be able to do? It can be able to participate in photosynthesis and can be able to produce food material. You understood now? So algae, as it consisting of chloroplast, it participates in photosynthesis and produces food material, whereas some amount of food material it gives to fungi. So fungi को क्या मिल रहे हैं algae से? Algae what खाना तैयार कर रहे हैं and it is giving to the fungi. Okay, fungi got benefit. Now what is the meaning of symbiosis? इसका दैट मीन्स सेकेंड पार्टनर का वजह से फर्स्ट पार्टनर को भी बेनिफिट होना चाहिए ना. सो फंगाई क्या दे रहे हैं? You know, many times I told you, not one time, around 3-4 times I told you, body of the fungi, it is mycelium. That means mycelium means fungal body only, you are calling it as mycelium. Mycelium, it is made up of several filament like structures, and these filament like structures are called as hyphae. So now please try to understand, as filament like structures called hyphae, they are having so many loops, है ना. They are having, because they are not having, they don't have proper arrangement. So in the loops of this particular hyphae, this algae it grow. That means it provides shelter. आपको समझ में आ रहा है ना? Again, if you understand also, just for safety, a very short cap I am going to give. Body of the fungi, it is called as mycelium, and mycelium, it is made up of filament like structures called as hyphae. And this hyphae, as this hyphae, they are irregularly present in loops. In the loops, this what I call algae, it takes shelter. That means from the fungi, algae, it is getting shelter. And second benefit is also there. What is that? As many times I told you, because I explained the classification of fungi, in that you understood so clearly, most of the fungal organisms or fungal beings are decomposers. That means they decompose the food material. That's why they are called as saprobes. Many times I told you, na, hope you are remembering na, while I'm explaining. I think you are remembering. So fungus, they are saprophytes. What is the meaning of saprobes or saprophytes? Saprobes means the organism which depends upon dead and decaying organic matter. Then they are called as saprophytes or saprobes. As very simply, you can use decomposers also. No problem. Meaning is same. Only words are different. So, please don't get confused. Sometimes I'm using saprobes, sometimes I'm using saprophytes, sometimes I'm using decomposers. Why sir is using this many names? My intention kya hai na, though I'm using different names, meaning is same na, that is actually my intention. Okay, so please don't get confused. Okay, now, because they are saprobes, they have capacity to decompose the dead and decaying organic matter. Obviously, by decomposing the dead and decaying organic matter, क्या मिलेगा? Inorganic minerals आएगा, है ना? Obviously, organic matter it is decomposing. उसका output क्या मिलेगा? Obviously, inorganic minerals only मिलेगा ना. So it also provides some water and minerals to the algae. So मैं क्या बोला? Symbiosis means both must be equally benefited. Either exactly ऐसे ही हो रहे हैं ना, algae it is giving food to this fungi, and fungi it is giving one shelter, and also as it is what I call symbiotic, I'm sorry, saprobic in its nutrition, it is also providing some water and also minerals to this particular algae. Now dekho, both are equally benefited na. So what I said, it is correct only na. So lichens are symbiotic association. So I think I justified the symbiotic association word perfectly, I'm thinking so, and I also consider that you understood. But still, if you have any confusions, please let me know. I'll definitely answer all your confusions. Again, a very short recap. Lichens are the symbiotic association between two distinct group of organisms. What are they? One, algal partner, and two, fungal partner. Algal partner, it is called as phycobiont, whereas fungal partner, it is called as mycobiont. Phycobiont, I mean algal partner, as it is chlorophyllous, it consisting of chloroplast, so it prepares its food material and it gives to the fungi. Some amount of food material it is taken by fungi. In return, fungi, as its body it is having so many loops, filamented na, hyphae is there na, that's why it is helping in giving shelter to the algae. And also, as it is saprobic in its nature, it also provides some minerals and little amount of water to the algae. So both the organisms are equally benefited. That's why lichens are considered as the symbiotic association between algae and fungi is called as lichens. I repeat, this definition is a very, very, very important definition. You have to remember the symbiotic association between algae and fungi is called as lichens. If you are noting down while I'm teaching, you note down the symbiotic association between algae and fungi called as lichens. Hope you understood. Now there is one very, very interesting fact given by the scientist called as Crombe. This Crombe, really I'm telling you a very, very interesting fact he has given. What he told, lichens, this association, this symbiotic association, he described this association as master slave association. What is this master slave association? See, master slave association, it is also called as helotism. Very important bit, many times asked in your NEET, so you have to remember this bit. आपको दूसरा choice नहीं है. Helotism. Helotism means basically helotism. It is also called as master slave association, and it is accepted by many of the scientists. Let us come to the point. What is helotism? What is this master slave hypothesis? Matlab, see, please try to understand. Lichens matlab kya hai? Symbiotic association between algae and fungi. मैं already बोला, but दोनों are present. Please try to understand. दोनों are present and दोनों are equally benefited. Though they are equally benefited, one will be dominant over others. Sorry students, just only for your understanding, I don't have any other intention, just to make you to understand only I'm telling you like this. My intention is purely just to understand. Now wife and husband are there, so obviously wife and husbands are equally benefited, so obviously it is symbiotic association, but obviously wives are more dominant than husbands na? This is universal fact. Am I correct or not? So the association in which both the organisms are equally benefited, but wives are thoda dominant over husbands है ना. For example, if husband if he don't obey, obviously एक stick आएगा kitchen से, it hits the head. ये आपको पता है, this all you already know this, so I need not to tell. So Crombe, he told master slave hypothesis. That means he described this lichens as a master slave association, which is technically called as helotism. What is helotism? The association in which both the organisms are present, where both the organisms are equally benefited also, but one organism it is dominating the other organism, then that is called as this helotism. Now let us, if you take the lichens association, fungi it is dominating the algae. That means, see, please don't miss the key concept. Both are equally benefited. इसमें आपको, you should not doubt it. Understanding it, it is very clear that both are equally benefited, but fungi it is a little dominating the algae in the association of lichens. So as one partner it is dominating the other partner, that's why it is called as a master slave. That means let us take lichens part mein fungus is master whereas algae is slave. That means one is dominating others, and this association only it is called as master slave association, but technically it is called as helotism. Hope you understood. Now let us continue this topic by taking the next topic, that is habitat. Now habit and habitat, I many times I told you that organisms where they live there, that is called as habitat. For example, fishes are there. Fishes kidhar rahega, where they will live? They lives in water. So aquatic habitat, that means I can say very simply, address of an organism, it is called as habitat. Okay. Now lichens are mostly perennial. See, I used a new word. I think so many of you know, but still some students they have confusion, but that's why I'm clarifying it. Perennial means organism which live for many years, that is called as perennial. Based on the lifespan, organisms can be classified into three groups. What are they? The first one, it is called as annual. What is the meaning of annual? In the name itself, please pronounce it properly. आपको answer मिलेगा annual. What is the meaning of annual? For example, you are studying in a school. Let us take every year they will celebrate annual celebrations. Am I correct? That means it completed 1 year. So 1 year, the organisms which can live for 1 year, they are called as annual. Whereas some organisms they live only for 2 years, then they are called as biannual, biennial. So 2 years, so that is called as a biennial. Whereas perennial, what is the meaning of perennial? Many years they can live, that's why they are called as perennial organisms. Hope you understood what is the meaning of perennial. And aerial, what is the meaning of aerial? Aerial means they are present on the what I call on the ground, that's why they are called as aerial. Or especially they even float. Understand? For example, if you take a bird, the bird, can I say, most of the time they will fly. That means they will present on the stems of the trees or branches of the trees, like that they are mostly present on the air, that's why they are called as aerial. Okay. And very slow growing, there is a special reason for this. Lichens are very slow growing. क्यों है ना? Because their body में protein synthesis it takes very slow. For your information only, for your understanding only, this point I clearly wrote. See, the growth rate of the lichens is very slow because their body may slow protein synthesis takes place. You know very well, our body mainly composed of proteins only. If proteins are there, our growth will be there. If proteins are less, the person cannot be able to grow properly because their body may proteins hai, but very slowly produced. Because they are producing very slow, growth is also slow. And also long lived. What is the meaning of long lived? The organisms which live for many years, they are called as long lived. Actually perennial only, it is called as long lived. So hope you understood what is the habit of the lichens. Then what is the habitat of the lichens? Habit आपको समझ में आया ना? They are perennial, that means live for many years. Aerial, that means mostly they are present on the stem trees or on the rocks. And very slow growing because their protein synthesis is very slow. Proteins are slowly available, so growth is also slowly taking place. Now the habit तक समझ में आना. What is habitat of it? That means where they live. So they live in many places. So let us take what are the places. The first one is Saxicolus. What is the meaning of Saxicolus? They live on rocks. See, देखो. See, this is a rock. आपको दिख रहा है ना? मुझे तो clearly दिख रहा है. See, this is a rock, and they are growing on the rocks. So dermatocarpon. So the dermatocarpon is the best example. So it is living on the rocks. Whereas or corticolus. What is the meaning of corticolus? They lives on the tree bark. See, this is a branch of a tree. Okay, on the tree bark you can be able to see the growth of this lichens. So that is called as corticolus. Okay, now example क्या है? See, इधर मैंने लिखा ना. So what is example? Asnia is the best example. Okay, whereas terricolus. What is the meaning of terricolus? It is growing on the soil. See, मिट्टी है, दिख रहा है ना आपको मिट्टी. So मिट्टी में they are growing, that's why that is called as terricolous. Now example क्या है? Cladonia. मैं clearly इधर लिखा ना, Cladonia is the best example. Whereas lignicolous, what is the meaning of lignicolous? They grow on old what I call wood or burnt wood, then that is called as lignicolous. Okay, if they are growing on old wood or burnt wood, then that is called as a lignicolous. And example क्या है? Cephalium. See, I'm sorry, Cyphalium. I'm extremely sorry. Cyphalium is an example. See, black dots are not, these black dots are nothing but lichens. And where they are growing, दिख रहा है ना आपको? See, दिख रहा है ना? It is growing on the old or burnt wood. See, आपको दिख रहा है ना? This follow my mark. This is actually the burnt wood. Okay, I'm sorry. This is burnt nahi. I think this is the old wood. if it is burnt wood, it turns to black na. So it is old wood, okay, because still it is brown color, so that's why it is old wood. So whatever it may be, see, if they are growing on old wood or burnt wood, both will be considered as lignicolous only, so you need not to worry about it, okay. So this is all about habit and also habitat of lichens. Now let us take one more concept, that is classification of lichens. Students, more questions come from this only. So lichens में नीट में ज़्यादा क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं from this classification only, so you read classification very properly, okay. Now, classification, if you take, lichens are classified based on three important characteristics. What are they? Three. Let us see. First thing, based on the fungal component. That means which type of fungi it is present. Then that is one of the basis of the classification. And second basis is based on the body of the organism. And body of the organism, it is called as thallus. And the third one, it is based on the algal component, which algal component is present, okay. Now let us see one after one so clearly. Now the first one is characteristic is our classification is based on the fungal component. Now major component of the body of the lichen is nothing but fungi. I already told you Crombe what he told, master slave association. What is the meaning of master slave association? Both are equally benefited, but one is dominating. So I need not to tell you every time. So obviously fungal component is more dominant and it is a little more present. That means major part obviously it is taken over by fungus only. Now, so based on the fungal component, there are two types. What are they? The first one is ascolichen and the next one is basidolichen. Students, before we go to the concept, read the names properly. Definitely, without reading the concept only, you will definitely understand. Ascolichens. थोड़ा सोच लो, आंसर मिलेगा. थोड़ा सोच लो, what is ascomycetes? Ascomycetes is a major fungal partner along with the algal partner, then that is called as ascolichens. Now I solved one thing. Now you, without seeing only, you try to solve basidolicens. What is the meaning of basidolicens? Please don't see, you try to solve by yourself. Basidolicens मतलब क्या है? Basidomycetes is a fungal partner which is living along with the algal partner, then that is only called as ascolichens and basidolicens. That's why every time, like whenever I get chance, I keep on telling only. Biology में most of the answers that are they are present in the word itself. You need not to struggle so much. Try to understand the name. I'm telling you openly and frankly, I'm telling you 90% of your questions can be solved if you understand the name properly, especially in biology. Biology में knowing the meaning of name is very very important. Now see, this is a clear example, very very easy example. Ascolichens, आपको थोड़ा सोचेगा तो obviously आपको आंसर मिलेगा. Lichens में mostly the fungal partner is ascomycetes. Now basidolicens, lichens में basidomycetes is a partner. See, answer मिल गया ना आपको. Now let us take the word format. Now fungal partner is ascomycetes, and obviously most of the lichens में ascomycetes only the most of the times it is a partner, when it's algal partner is mostly green algae. Of course rarely blue green is also मिलेगा, blue green algae is also मिलेगा. So but mostly the algal partner is green algae only, whereas basidolicens में this basidomycetes is a fungal partner, whereas blue green algae is a algal partner, okay. Now the next one, hope you understood students. Of course if you have still confusions, you please ask me. Now the next criteria of classification is based on the thallus. Thallus means, please don't get confused, body of the organism, it is called as thallus. आप इतना ज़्यादा सोचना मत. Thallus means what? Body of the organism, okay. Now based on the thallus, again there are three types. What are they? Crustose lichen, again I repeat, थोड़ा difficult है ना name, that's why I'm repeating once again. Crustose lichen, crustose lichen, and foliage lichen, understanding it. And the next one is fruticose lichen, fruticose lichen, okay. I again repeat, try to pronounce it along with me. Crustose lichens, now foliose lichens, fructose lichens. I think so. I'm clear. I think you are also clear. Now let us take the first one, crustose lichens. Crustose lichens may this thalli is flat and closely adhered. What is the meaning adhered, sir? मैं कभी भी नहीं सुना. Adhered means closely attached. Then that is called as adhered. Again, I repeat, adherence means if any substance it is closely attached to the substratum, then that is called as adherence. Whereas they are adhered to what? Rocks. What is the meaning of substratum? Substratum means on which the organism it is growing, then that is called as substratum. For example, we are walking. So soil is our substratum because we are walking on the soil. Hope you understood now? Now they are growing on rocky substratum, understanding it, and they are closely attached to the rocks, so that's why they are called as crustose lichen, understanding it. An example is graphis and also hematoma, like that many examples are there. I brought 2 3 examples just for your understanding. Okay, now the next one is foliose lichen. Foliose lichens, they are flat and leaf like, and they consisting of so many projections, and these projections are called as lobes and attached to the substratum means base substratum with the help of rhizoid like structures called as rhizines. See, I used a very new word. I think so. None of you know this word. I think so. I'm thinking so. Rhizoid. I used one new word. I think many of the students they don't know this rhizoid. Rhizoids means hair-like projections, unicellular hair-like projections which helps in attachment. They are called as rhizoids. Again, I repeat. If you understand also safety ke liye I am repeating. Rhizoids means unicellular. That means only one celled hair-like structures. They look like hair. So unicellular hair-like projections that helps in attachment. They are called as rhizoids. And rhizoid-like structures will be shown by foliage lichens. So that rhizoid-like structures are called as rhizines. Rhizines are present in foliage lichens, and the examples Palmelia is one of the example, and of course Peltigera also one of the good examples. So foliage lichens ko Palmelia and Peltigera are the best examples. Next one is fruticose lichen. What is fruticose lichen? They are shrub like. That means they're little thick. Okay, they're shrub like, cylindrical, and also branched lichens. Sometimes they are erect. That means they stand straight. Example kya hai? Cladonia is an example. Sometimes they don't stand erect. They hang freely. If they hang freely, the example is Alsnia. Okay, I'm sorry, Asnia. Okay, I'm really very sorry. What mistake I did? Asnia. Okay, and they attach to the substratum. That means they are attached to the base with the help of a kind of disc-like structure that is called as mucilaginous disc. Again, I repeat, mucilaginous disc. Okay, with the help of mucilaginous disc, they attaches to the substratum. Hope you understood. Crustose lichen, foliose lichen, and also fruticose lichen. Understanding it. And the third criteria of classification is based on the algal component. Algal component में sorry, really sorry, based on algal component. Again, there are two types. What are they? Homomerous thallus. Please try to repeat the word homomerous thallus. Try to understand what am I telling. Homomerous thallus. What is the meaning of homo? What is the meaning of homo? Same or equal. Homomerous thallus. That means same portion of algae and same portion. That means let us take 100%. Lichens, let us take 100%. 50% algae and 50% is a portion by fungi. That means both are equally distributed. Then that is called as homomerous. But it is really, I'm telling you, very rare. Why? You know, most of the lichens में fungi it dominates algae. That's why I clearly wrote. आपको clearly दिख रहा है ना? Rare. Rarely algae में sorry, lichens में algae and fungi are equally present. Example also what colema, so and leptogium. Colema and also leptogium are the best examples where algae and also the fungi are equally distributed. But please understand, homomerous thala is very rare because Crombe clearly told algae and fungi, yes, equally benefited, but fungi it is more dominating the algae. That is the reason why most of the lichen are heteromerous thalli. What is the meaning of heteromerous thalli? One is dominating, that means fungi it is dominating the algal component, then that is called as hetero means different, so they are differently I'm talking about portion wise, okay, contribution wise. So a fungi it is more present than algae, then that is called as heteromerous thalli. Okay, and the example is what I call a crombe. I'm sorry, Parmelia. Parmelia is a very best example. And see, I clear just for your understanding, most of the lichens they are heteromerous, whereas very rarely you can be able to see homomerous. Okay, hope you understood classification. Again, safety के लिए मैं बोल रहे, most of the question in your NEET exam they are coming from classification. I that doesn't means remaining portions are not asked, ऐसे मैं बिल्कुल नहीं बोल रहे, but see mostly they are preferring, they are taking the questions from classification of lichens, so you read it so carefully about the classification of lichens. Now let us take the reproduction part of the lichens. And as usually lichens it takes place by asexual and also sexual, and asexual it takes place by spore production and also vegetative propagation. Now vegetatively they reproduce by fragmentation. Fragmentation means the parent body it breaks into so many fragments, that means pieces, and each and every small piece it develops into an individual lichen, then that is called as fragmentation. And it also produces a special body called as Soridium. What is Soridium? Please understand. They are gray white bodies. That means blend of both the colors. Gray white. That means I can say ash color. Understand ash? For example, if you burned the wood, ash milega na aapko. That ash color it is nothing but grayish white only. So grayish white body which contains one or a few algal cells which are completely wrapped, completely covered by fungal hyphae, then that is called as soridium. Whereas the next vegetative propagation is Isidium. Isidium matlab they are grayish black. Please understand, soridium is grayish white, whereas Isidium is grayish black. Very easily detachable outgrowths that develops from the body of the what you call lichen, and they automatically detach. I can say I can compare with budding only. So of course not exactly budding. Budding matlab a bud like projection, whereas here they are irregular outgrowth like structures. So please understand. But comparison wise, Isidium formation is almost, we can closely compare it with what I call budding only. So easily detachable outgrowths they develop from the upper surface of the body of the lichen called thallus, and they easily detach, and they go to the various places, and under favorable conditions they obviously develop into new what I call lichen, then that is called as Isidium. Okay. Now, asexual reproduction by spore production by oidea or by conidia or pycnidio spores, by any of the spores. It may produces any of the spore based on the conditions where it is living. So it may be oidiospores, or it may be conidiospores, or it may be pycnidiospores also. Okay, based on the condition, you don't think much about it. Whereas sexual reproduction by production of gametes, and gametes are produced by only fungal component. Algal component cannot be able to produce. Okay. Now few cells will be carried, okay, but it do not produce any gametes. Okay. Now a female sex organ it is called as a carpogonium, and male sex organ it is called as a spermogonium. Okay. And a carpogonium produces female gamete, and a spermogonium produces male what I call male gametes. Okay. Now they fertilize and they produces obviously the new lichen. So this is all about the reproduction of algae. But as a comparative, I'm just comparing it, mostly reproduction of lichen में ज़्यादा questions नहीं आ रहे मुझे reason, please don't ask me reasons, because I also don't know why reproduction of lichens में ज़्यादा questions नहीं आ रहे. It is answerless questions. Okay. Now mostly the questions lichens part में they're asking from classification में, classification का ऊपर में ज़्यादा questions आ रहे हैं. Okay. Now, the next one, importance of lichens. After classification, the second most preferred part of lichens in terms of asking questions is nothing but economic importance of lichens. Economic importance of lichen is one of the most important part of the lichen. The first one, ecological importance. That means this earth के लिए वो क्या कर रहे, that is ecological importance. Lichens are the pioneers. What is the meaning of pioneers? I think so first time you are listening. Pioneer means started. They are the initiative organisms. That means first organisms. So they are called as pioneers. Okay. They are the pioneers of vegetation in the lithospheres. Sir, what is the meaning of lithosphere? Lithosphere, sir. First time I'm listening. Lithosphere means rocky surfaces are called as lithosphere. Okay, rocky surface. It is called as lithosphere. For example, aquasphere. What is the meaning of aquasphere? Water surface. It is called as aquasphere. Okay, so lithosphere means rocky surfaces. What is the meaning of pioneer of vegetation of lithosphere? Please understand very clearly, very clearly. You please try to understand. Now, uh, crustose lichens, they starts growing on this particular rocks. Try to get my points. So clearly, try to get my points. First of all, a big rock is there, and on the big rocks by the spores, because spores they spread by wind water है ना. So by the spores, this crustose lichen spores they come and fall on the rock, and they starts growing on the rock. Try to get my point. Because they are growing on the rocks slowly they starts dissolving, and by the dissolving some humus it is formed. Now on the humus, foliage lichen will be formed. I'm really sorry. Foliage lichen साथ में fruticose lichens also will be formed. That's why crustose lichens, and first of all it grow on the rocks, and then it is followed by foliose and also fruticose. Now all these three lichens slowly they dissolve the rocks, and this dissolving of the rock it is called as withering, and withering of the rocks it results in the formation of soil. That means soil formation it is caused due to withering of rocks, whereas withering of the rocks it is due to this lichens called crustose, foliose and also fruticose lichens. Now definitely you will get a doubt, sir rock इतना हार्ड रहेगा, एक क्रिस्टोज लाइकन विच इज ऑब्वियसली फंगई, फंगई कैसे ब्रेक कर सकते हैं सर? आई थिंक इट इज इलॉजिकल. आई थिंक इतना टेंडर वेरी व्हाट आई वीक लाइकन रॉक को कैसे ब्रेक करेगा सर? सो आई नीड एन एक्सप्लेनेशन फॉर दिस. Because you will get doubt only, I brought this statement. What is that? Lichens they produces some powerful acids called as carbonic acid and also oxalic acid. Because of this carbonic acid and oxalic acid, their acids na very powerful. Acids are very powerful. For example, if you put any acid drop, don't put a, just for your understanding I'm telling you, very dangerous. Don't play dangerous things. Okay, if you put a small drop of acid it burns your skin. Okay, am I correct or not? So that acids they are produced by this particular lichens. So because of this with the help of acids they can be able to dissolve the rocks. Yes, obviously the one who listen, for example if I also listen for the first time, मुझे भी लगेगा अरे इतना बड़ा टेंडर वेरी वीक लाइकेंस एक बड़ा रॉक इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग रॉक को हाउ दे विल डिसॉल्व, इट इज इम्पॉसिबल ना. So the answer for this, they are producing a strong acids called as carbonic acid, oxalic acid. So with the help of this acids they are dissolving the rocks. Now I think you understood. And dissolving the rocks to form a soil that is called as withering, and by the withering soil it is formed. Okay, hope you understood. And one very important question I have to tell you, the process of formation of soil by the withering of the rocks, it is called as pedogenesis. Very important question, you have to remember this question. The process of formation of soil by the withering of rocks is called as pedogenesis. Hope you understood. Very simple, soil formation it is called as pedogenesis. Okay, Now let us take the second use. I am thinking so. What I call ecological importance आपको समझ में आया. Hope you understood why they are called as pioneers. Because pioneers मतलब they initiate the growth. See पहले rocks में growth नहीं है, but growth it is started by the lichens. That's why they are the okay. Now especially on the rocks, so lithosphere. Now the second example, second economic importance is food and fodder. Even lichens are also, they are edible, that means we can eat. Especially tundra region में cladonia rangifernia sorry rangiferina, I'm sorry, I'm really very sorry, rangiferina. So cladonia rangiferina, which is also called as a reindeer moss. And this reindeer moss, it is edible, that means they will collect this particular lichens and they will cook. I don't know, I never saw how they cook, but what I can say is this cladonia, it is edible. Some person, some what you call, people who are living in the tundra region, they are eating this particular cladonia. Okay, whereas the species of Pamelia, Pamelia is also called as a rock flower because this algae, I'm sorry, this lichen, it looks like a flower. So they are growing on rocks. So obviously rock may flower. So rock flower जैसा दिखता है. So Pamelia. And in South India, they are used as food. Especially they make powder of this particular rock flower, that means Pamelia, and they used as a powder when they are preparing the curries. Understanding it? So I never have seen understanding it, but see, it is there, they're using traditionally, they must be using it. Okay, whereas the next one is lichens as the source of medicines, especially arsenic acid, which is a very important antibiotic. So one of the important antibiotic is arsenic acid, that is extracted from Asnia and also Cladonia. So from these two lichens only this arsenic acid it is extracted. And also very important question, you 101% you need to remember this. What is it? They are the best bio indicators. They indicates pollution. Where the pollution is more, there you can't be able to see lichens growth, because lichens are very sensitive to air pollution. Especially air pollution, it is also caused due to carbon and also sulfur. So especially more than carbon, it is more sensitive to the sulfur. So sulfur dioxide, किधर सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड ज़्यादा है in the air, there you can never be able to see this particular lichen growth. So they are called as bio indicators. Hope you understood. And students, सेफ्टी के लिए और एक बार बोल रहे, दिस पॉइंट इज मेनी टाइम्स आस्क्ड क्वेश्चन, you 101% you need to remember this point. So I am repeating this point once more. Basically these lichens are bio indicators of air pollution. Where air pollution किधर है, there you can't be able to see ज़्यादा growth of lichens. Especially lichens, they are little more sensitive to sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide किधर है, there you can't be able to see the growth of lichens. That's why they are called as bio indicators of air pollution. I think so it is clear. Whereas the next one is forest fire. Forest fire, it is caused due to asthenia. Asthenia, it is also called as old man's beard. And this old man's beard, that means when they become very dry, no, they becomes inflammable. What does it mean inflammable? They become sensitive to the fire. So that yet once this asthenia members, they started producing this fire, and this fire, it burns the complete what I call forest. So it is also responsible for the forest fire. And lichens are the sources of dyes also, especially when you are going to the chemistry lab. Acid litmus paper रहेगा ना, which is used as acid base indicator. I think so you must have used this litmus paper to indicate as acid base indicator. And that is taken out of Rossella tinctoria. Rossella tinctoria only, it is from that only that litmus paper it is coming. So you can easily indicate what is acid and what is base. So these are the importances of the lichens. I think so you understood the lichens concept clearly. And the last concept is, with this the complete kingdom fungi it is done. There is nothing more to discuss about the fungi. And tomorrow we are going to discuss about virus. So next topic. Okay. Let us take the very last topic of fungi, mycorrhiza. You know what is the specialty of mycorrhiza? You know what is the specialty of lichens? I told you now, you have to tell what is the specialty of lichens. Symbiotic association with algae and fungi. Whereas mycorrhiza matlab kya hai? Symbiotic association with between fungi and roots of higher plants. Okay, that means they depends upon, that means they don't depend, they symbiotically, that means give and take policy here also. Give, basically symbiosis matlab give and take policy, that means it depends upon root hairs. So root hairs, they are giving shelter to the fungus, whereas fungi in return, it is giving the minerals to the root hairs. So both are equally benefited, especially phosphorus mineral. Of course all the minerals they will get it to the plants, but especially phosphorus ज़्यादा मिलेगा. So again I repeat, just safety के लिए, see, mycorrhiza means symbiotic association between fungus and roots of higher plants. What is the meaning of symbiosis? Both must be equally benefited. Na? Fungus, it is getting shelter. So, from plants, fungus, it is getting shelter. एक use हो गया. Second use, roots को क्या मिल रहा है? Because symbiosis मतलब both must be benefited. Na? Roots को fungi, it is giving minerals. Of course, all the minerals it is giving, but more it is giving phosphorus. So, for the phosphorus, not only phosphorus, for all the minerals, but mostly phosphorus ke liye, this mycorrhiza it takes place. And mycorrhiza name was given by Frank in the year 1885. So this particular scientist Frank has given the name called as mycorrhiza. But mycorrhiza, again it is of two types. What are they? Ectomycorrhiza. Read the name, 101% आपको समझ में आएगा. Ecto. What is the meaning of ecto? Outside. Mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza, it is present on the plants, but it is present on the plant body only. Then that is called, that means outside the plant body only. Then that is called as ectomycorrhiza. Endomycorrhiza. What is the meaning of endomycorrhiza? This mycorrhiza, it is even going into the body of the fungi. That means body का अंदर जा रहे हैं, body का बाहरी है, then that is called as ectomycorrhiza. Body का अंदर जा रहे हैं, then that is called as endomycorrhiza. You know what? Ectomycorrhiza is very less, only 3%. Only 3% of the total plant species they consisting of ectomycorrhiza. But endomycorrhiza, 80% of the vesicular plants, 80% of the plants they consisting of endomycorrhiza. That means the mycorrhiza it go into the body, completely inside the body of the what I call plant. Then that is called as endomycorrhiza. So of course, second point I need not to tell you, they grow on the surface of the roots, okay, and completely covers the what I call roots of the what I call plant by the fungal hyphae. Whereas they enters into the cell. That's why it is called as intracellular. What is intracellular? They completely enter into the cell. Into the which cell? Cortical cells of the root. That's why it is also called as vesicular arbuscular mycorrhiza. Why? Because it is entering into the cell. Na? Because it is entering into the cell, it is called as VAM. What is the meaning of VAM? Vesicular arbuscular mycorrhiza. Whereas they are not going into the what I call body of the plant. That's why they are outside. Ectomycorrhiza. Example chahiye to pinus, fagus, and also abyss, and also oak tree, eucalyptus, like that. Many examples are there. Whereas sir, here you did not, you forgot to mention the examples. Here up mention, you mentioned the plants which grow with ectomycorrhiza, but आप भूल गया इधर, you did not mention. See, मैं भूल नहीं गया, because most of the plants they grow as endomycorrhiza. So you can take any plant like grasses you take, or any flowering plant you take, most of the flowering plants they belongs to what? Endomycorrhizal type only. So specially I need not to take the what I call examples of endomycorrhiza. Whereas ectomycorrhiza में mostly basidomycetes they grow as ectomycorrhiza. Please don't misunderstand. I am telling mostly basidomycetes. That doesn't mean remaining fungi they can't grow as ectomycetes. मैं बिल्कुल ऐसा नहीं बोल रहे. I am telling remaining all the fungal groups also they grow as ectomycorrhizal members, but mostly basidomycetes. Whereas if you take endomycorrhiza, Mostly zygomycetes members, they grow as or endomycorrhizal members. That doesn't at all means the other members cannot grow as endomycorrhiza, even ascomycetes and even other groups also they can happily grow. But mostly if you take 100 endomycorrhizal members, but 50 60 70% zygomycetes members, that actually I mean. And examples, if you take claviata, emantia, and also scleroderma, like that many examples are there. Whereas endomycorrhiza में corticium and also rhizoctonia, like that many examples are there for endomycorrhiza and ectomycorrhiza. Students, with this I completed the fungi completely. किंगडम फंगाई में और सिर्फ एक टॉप भी नहीं बचा है, पूरा का पूरा मैं खत्म किया. होप यू अंडरस्टूड टुडेज क्लास. सो if you have any doubts, please ask me, and I'll meet you with a next meet you with a new topic in the next class, that is virus. Thank you so much.